This is just one idiot's opinion on the internet. If you're a gamer and you have never played a Final Fantasy game in your life, then are you really a gamer? Yeah, probably, but that's not the point. There are an obnoxious amount of Final Fantasy games, spin-offs, and even a few movies to boot. Needless to say, the series is pretty popular. I grew up playing the old 16-bit Final Fantasy games and then going to the masterpiece that was Final Fantasy VII. After Final Fantasy X though, I stopped playing. The game seemed to be taking a turn from its traditional roots, and although I'm all for games trying to keep things fresh, it just didn't seem that appealing to me. When Final Fantasy XV was announced, it was sold as being a more open world and free-flowing battle system, much in the way of Kingdom Hearts. I was curious as to how this would play out, and at the time of release, I was not exactly accomplishing much with my life. What better way to fix the void than getting absorbed into a fantasy world where you have no troubles at all? At least I think that's how that works. Anyways, here's my review of Final Fantasy XV for the PS4 and Xbox One. For anyone who has played a Final Fantasy game, the story is usually massive and has a bunch of winding paths. So I'm going to try to give my collective and condensed thoughts on the game as per usual, but to get the true feeling for the story, you are going to have to play through the game yourself. The game takes place in the world of Eos. All the kingdoms of the world are under the Empire of Niflheim law. Say 1. The Kingdom of Lucis. Noctis, heir to the Lucis throne, is set on a quest to Alticia, where Noctis will be wed to his future wife, Lady Lunafreya. To make sure Noctis doesn't die along the way, he is followed by his 3 companions and best friends. Gladios, his bodyguard, Ignis, his advisor, and his childhood friend Prompto. These characters really make the story what it is. Each character has vastly different personalities and really grow throughout the game. Ignis has great cooking skills, Gladios has great survival skills, and Prompto has a love for photography, and Cindy. Each character has a unique role to play, and the adventure would not go on without everyone doing their part. This is not your typical 4 best friends that go save the world adventure game. They go through trials, hardships, separation, and risk being torn apart after the events that take place. But wait a minute, Will. What are those events that take place? Well, loyal viewer, I'm glad you asked. After Noctis and company left to see him married, things kind of, how do you say it, went to hell in a handbasket. After leaving Lucis, Noctis finds out that the Empire has invaded Insomnia and stolen the crystal over King Regis' literal dead body. Noctis is now tasked with retrieving the weapons of Lucy, the ancient king of Lucis, in order to rescue the crystal and reclaim his throne. 4 heroes go through a series of trials, collecting summons and trying to figure out the deal with the mysterious Arden, the Imperial Chancellor and all-around D-bag. Spoilers. Fast forward 10 years in time and the world has been swallowed by darkness. Lunafreya has been killed and Noctis is nowhere to be seen. Noctis makes his way to Hammerhead and is reunited with his friends for one last assault on the kingdom. After the party defeats the rogue astral Ifrit, Noctis confronts Arden alone and kills him in a good old one-on-one duel. Noctis then ascends the throne. Using the power of the Lucy and the crystal's light, he sacrifices his life to purge the demons from the world. In the spirit realm, Noctis, with the aid of Lunafreya and the Lucy, destroy Arden's spirit. The story is quite an emotional tale. It has a way of always keeping you on edge and feeling like things are part of a much bigger plot, which it is. The characters are endearing and show great emotion throughout the story. They grow together, bond together, and it's all tied in at the end credits, where it shows Noctis at the group's last bonfire telling his friends how much they mean to him, knowing full well that he is going to die. You get invested and bond with the group, keeping you invested throughout the game. Again, I skipped a bunch, and to get the full scope of the story, you're going to have to play the game yourself. Final Fantasy has always been your typical JRPG, with turn-based battles, powerful magical spells, and a rotating cast of party members. Final Fantasy XV switches up all that for a more streamlined approach. The game keeps in tradition with an open-world theme, but this time it's on a much greater scale. The world is all connected though, and provides you with a number of different options to go around. You have the Regalia, which you can put on autopilot, allowing Ignis to drive you around, or you can drive it yourself. Once you have been to a location, you will unlock the fast travel ability, allowing you to get there in an instant. Other methods of transportation consist of running around on foot, not highly recommended, and your good old chocobo, which you even have the ability to customize. Traveling is relatively quick for the most part, and riding in the car is a good time to look around and see the beauty of the world, or check your phone for text, that works too. The big issue in the game is traveling at night. Ignis won't drive at night, leaving you in control, and too many times you can be driving around and forced out of your car to fight a battle. At night, the demons come out and try to eat your face. You get out, fight, get back in, and do it again a minute later. It just feels tedious. Speaking of battles, Final Fantasy XV moves from the traditional turn-based battles for a real-time battle system. You only fight with Noctis throughout the game. You have a few special moves you can use in conjunction with your team. Commands like attack, defend, and magic are mapped to buttons, and battles happen in the overworld instead of switching to an arena. During battle, each character has HP and MP. When HP drops to 0, character's health bars start to deplete, but he can be revived, giving him back to the point where your character's health bar has fallen to. Noctis also has the ability to warp in battle, which can allow him to teleport to a targeted area or get out of danger, though at the cost of MP. In the start, I really wasn't a big fan of the mapped controls in real-time battles. It felt too simplistic, often just holding B to win. But as you get into later and more complex battles, holding B will lead you to a quick death. A big staple of Final Fantasy, along with RPGs in general, is some form of magic. 15 does have a magic element to it, but it feels very lacking comparatively speaking. You only have fire, lightning, and ice magic, and in order to use it you must draw magical elements from around the world. After that you can craft magic bombs that can be used in battle. I found myself not using magic a whole lot, because it feels tedious to make a bunch of different spells, and frankly I just forgot most of the time. But if you combine the right items and just put your magic intake to 99, then you can have some pretty devastating effects. Of course it wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game without summons now, would it? Well, yeah, I guess it would, because although summons are in this game and hold extraordinary power, you cannot use them on command. They appear at random, and when I say appear at random, I mean I have no goddamn clue what causes it. Other than the story-driven moments, summons were almost non-existent for me, and I found that very disappointing. The game has an interesting way of leveling up as well. You gain XP from fights, quests, and exploring, but you can only cash the XP in by sleeping. The higher quality place you sleep, you will be given a multiplier to your XP, making it worthwhile to spend the extra money on a fancy hotel instead of just using a regular campfire. Exploring the world of Eos, you will have the opportunity to do a myriad of side quests. Helping strangers in cities nets you extra XP, along with providing some backstory to the character in the game. You can also go on monster hunts to gain some quality rewards for your adventure. The world of Eos is beautiful. The game is a great mix of wildlife nature and modernization. Everywhere you travel in the world, it feels like a new, distinct part of the world. The towns are often full of life and feel like you are exploring the city life in Eos. With the exception of Noctis' hair, which can occasionally go a bit wild, the game and character models look great and run smoothly. The game also has a ton of throwbacks in the music department as well, allowing you to use your car radio to select a multitude of past Final Fantasy hits. As with most Final Fantasy RPGs, there is plenty to do in the game. The main storyline will keep you playing from start to finish, and along with that there are plenty of side quests and monster hunts to do in the game. The game boasts a massive world that you can explore for hours on end, and it will keep you sinking hours into the game. There is also a New Game Plus mode for those that want to breeze through the game for a second time. Final Fantasy XV helped bring me back into the series. Even though I had not played much of the newer games, it integrated players quite easily. The new combat can take a little bit of getting used to, but once you learn the way to fight, you will be flying your way through a story that will keep you coming back for more and more. If you like this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that crap, same thing every end of the video. And I'll see you guys next week for, depends if I finish the other game or not. Okay, later.